Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 36 of On the Flank. I'm one of your hosts, John George, alongside Joe Kirkpatrick. Say hello, Joe.
Hey, everybody.
And when it comes to analysis, we are on the flank. Joe, I'm sitting here. I got a cold Bud Light in my hand, and we're going to be celebrating the Bud Light homestand weekend over the last weekend. It doesn't matter where it was. It's sponsored by Bud Light. That's all that does matter. Grab a cold one with your friends. And maybe this podcast is sponsored by Bud Light as well. You'll never know. No, you wouldn't know. We would legally have to tell you. We're
Tweet about it or something.
Yeah, we're looking to get the Bud Knight on the podcast himself. I don't know if he talks. Is he one of those mascots that talks or no? I haven't.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Okay, I thought you knew all about all the beer mascots, Joe. It sounds like something you would know. But yeah, Joe, this was
I don't know what to tell you.
a first in esports history. The first home game. Hashtag the first home game. And it was pretty good, right? Pretty fun.
Oh, absolutely. I'd say so. I mean, on par with obviously not having been to the event, but probably I would assume on par with like the grand finals of last season or some of the more exciting World Cup matches, even from the fall.
Yeah, I definitely would say on par with the grand finals, even though it wasn't even the grand finals. You saw these people turn up for a game that was a 7-5 team versus like a 3-8 or something.
Yeah, mid-season, super low stakes, except that it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. I next year I would say do not expect. Well, maybe if it's Houston versus Dallas, but do not expect stage 2, stage 3, middle of the season games between two pretty decent teams to get that rowdy. But well, maybe it's the first season next season. It's the first time they're home games, so maybe every game will get rowdy. Who knows?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, next time when Dallas plays Houston at Houston, that'll be the
True.
shocker.
They have to. I think they have to schedule it that way because most likely they'll only play one game again next season unless they switch up the divisions or something, or they switch up the scheduling. So next season they'll probably play only once again, and it'll have to be in Houston. If they're gonna have stage playoffs, where are they gonna have them? That's the question.
That's a good question. I mean, maybe you just go back to LA for that.
Yeah, maybe. Because I will miss. God, I hope the LA Gladiators gets Blizzard Arena. Because I will miss that arena because that's a very nice arena, with obviously amazing LEDs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So I hope the Gladiators get that. It's also an easy drive from my place, so I would like that a lot as a Gladiators fan. But the LA Valiant are literally their arena is like 4 blocks down from me. So I don't think anything gets easier than that. I could just walk to the Valiant arena, which I will be doing in stage 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited because I just get to walk there. No parking, not dealing with any of that. I mean, parking's going to be hard at that because it is in downtown Los Angeles. So that's going to be annoying for Valiant fans. But I'm excited. It's going to be an outdoor arena. It's going to be interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now I'm just hyped for season 3. We should just skip season 2. Just forget the rest of it.
We made it all the way. We went almost halfway through season 2, and now it's time for season 3.
Yeah, I think that sums up this weekend pretty well. But yeah, let's just jump into this. I mean, we started off with an interesting moment because it was Paris versus London, and I think it was in the middle of the first map, right?
Yeah, it's like in the middle of Busan Mecha base.
There was a power outage that had nothing to do with the event center itself or anyone in the Overwatch League. It was just a city thing in that area. Apparently the power went out. And that went on for a long time, right?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that, yeah, the power went out, but evidently not enough to disrupt the game, because they were able apparently to successfully pause the game or to preserve it somehow enough that they were able to finish out that point, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, usually backup generator or battery will do that for you.
I guess all you have to do is keep the servers up, and the broadcast
Yeah,
can suffer.
yeah.
That's true.
So they probably just had like a backup battery, but they didn't have enough power to like completely run the entire. They didn't have enough backup
The
power to
entire
do that.
arena.
Yeah, just to have the stream keep running and say we'll be right back, and stuff like that. But yeah, that went on for a long time, I think, because while that was happening, I came back, or I started late because I was super surprised that it started at 9 a.m. here. I was like, wait, what? Like I woke up and I was like, this has already started. What is going on? Um,
Yeah.
and then I was rewatching I rewatched a bit of the pre-show because I wanted to see like what the vibes were like, and then I rewatched London versus Paris, what had gone on so far, which was literally just 1 point, and I then I sat there for I think like 3 or 4 minutes. So however long it went on, I think it was a decent amount of time, right? Um, and that didn't stop. That was the only like hiccup all weekend, really. I guess there was like some color issues that like the coloring was a bit off sometimes.
Yeah, on like some
Anything
of the
else?
like first person perspectives I heard. But yeah, there wasn't really anything crazy. I mean, as far as we were trying to see, oh, this event's going to be a way to like test the legs of the broadcast team, and how well they able to transition and like learning things for the future and all that. But no, it was pretty good, I thought. I mean, nothing like major that stood out that like, oh man, they gotta fix that for next time.
Yeah, I agree. Which is it is surprising based off what you're saying too. But yeah, let's get into the matches. Talking about the actual, I mean, London 4-0'd Paris. I think both of us expected London to win this one, and sort of tie up that European battle here. And I don't know if they're going to be playing each other anymore because it seems like we're getting to a point where Paris is probably not going to make too many stage playoffs, and London is probably going to be making every single one because they're looking pretty good. Uh,
It's true. It's true.
yeah, so this is probably the last we
Except for the
see.
first one, I guess.
Yeah, um, probably the last we see of this European battle, which is I guess pretty sad because it's fun to see rivalries like this. But yeah, Paris not looking too good. Um, Overall, they're just looking middle of the pack, you know. Um,
Yeah.
they went 0-2 this weekend. Their second game was against Hangzhou Spark, which was a very much closer one. But we'll talk about that in a bit. The next game was Hangzhou versus Chengdu, which was a fun one. Obviously, it's always a fun one when Chengdu's involved. But there are a lot of DPS heroes in general played this weekend, Joe. I felt like there are a lot of other strategies besides goats, right?
Yeah, I mean, with lots that we've seen, with various degrees of success, for sure. But definitely, their teams are willing to try things, and even if even if it doesn't always work against the teams like that are really good at the thing that they do, for these teams to find some sort of specializations and do their own thing, even to a little, even to a smaller extent, is helpful.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. Hangzhou came up on top here, though 3-1 against Chengdu. Hangzhou had a good weekend, um, and Chengdu had an interesting weekend because we'll get into that because they ended up getting a pretty big upset. But day one was overall. I mean, Hangzhou Chengdu is probably the closest game here. Overall, lots of 4-0s because you had Houston Outlaws get 4-0'd by Seoul Dynasty, and my God, after this game, I was like, Houston is a dumpster fire. They looked god awful. This team looked so bad. Um, I don't know. They just make so many obvious mistakes, and then it's just so sad to see. I mean, obviously they can't play DPS on every map, I know that. But whenever they're on DPS, whenever they're on heroes where they're comfortable, they look so much better. But when they're on the goats, they look so uncomfortable and so they just don't know how to play goats.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's uh
yeah,
it's a little bit interesting just thinking about you know the kind of discussions we had about teams like at this point last stage, so like 5 weeks ago or something. Talking about teams, oh, if they can't play goats well, you can hope for a stage two meta that's gonna shake that up a little bit. And I think we got that, but just thinking ahead, that there haven't been I mean, there hasn't been any like major balance patch so far during stage two at all that we have to, quote unquote, look forward to, or teams like Houston have to look forward to going into stage three. And I mean, granted, there's a longer break in which something can happen, but I mean, you got to hope, I guess, next week when Archives ends. Hopefully there's some sort of patch in the works to be able to change some sort of things up. Again, for the sake of teams like Houston, that are struggling in goats, obviously that's I think still something we're trying to move away from as far as balancing goes. But even just for the sake of varied viewership and keeping things interesting, I mean, we still like Havana is the only new thing like basically at all, other than I guess the Reaper change that patch. But like no major balance changes so far, which is can be a little disheartening. You got to see exactly what's on the horizon here.
yeah. They're gonna have to release. If that's gonna happen, a PTR patch is gonna have to come pretty soon, I think. Um,
Yeah, like next week, if not much. That's like as late as it can be almost.
yeah, unless they speed up their PTR patch process, because it usually takes a couple weeks at least for that PTR to hit live. And I think stage three starts right at the beginning of June. So
Sounds right.
yeah, we're basically at a month until that next stage starts. So they're gonna if there's going to be a big patch, and you're right, there's got to be at least some balance changes, right? Like
Yeah, because I don't think there was a stage last season that didn't change something.
yeah, that'd be especially in a meta where people are very upset still. But maybe they think, I mean, Blizzard thinks this all the time. Maybe they just think that people haven't discovered the counter to goats yet, or they haven't like mastered other compositions quite yet, which I guess is a valid argument, but um, it's I mean, you still have all the pro players screaming and saying that goats is the best, and you have Zachary, of course, saying that he's in brig jail. So I mean, you got to make some changes. You got to continually make changes.
You would think, and
You
granted, we saw a big update this week that we'll talk about, but still,
yeah,
you got to assume there's something in the works.
hopefully. Um, and then the last game that day was Valiant Dallas Fuel, which was absolutely dominant by the Dallas Fuel, and I think it was home field advantage, Joe, which is awesome. uh,
Yeah, I mean, we've sort of alluded a little bit to LA Valiant is a decent team. Whether they've won matches or not. I mean, we saw that on Sunday when they played Seoul.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, if you're trying to play Dallas at Dallas, getting booed right as soon as you walk onto the stage. I mean, there are potential hazards to that. I mean, like that interview with Space, they said, "Oh, we're scared of this Dallas crowd," and
yeah.
I think they had reason to be.
Yeah, I mean, right there, it's just the mentality of the Los Angeles Valiant going into this game. And right when he said that, I was like, that's not a good thing to say. Like you're about to get destroyed. Um, yeah, the Valiant not looking as good. I mean, they looked pretty good against Seoul, but maybe I think it was a bit of that home field. I mean, that crowd was going absolutely nuts. You had some booze in there, which um, I would rather not debate whether or not the boos are good. They're fine. Booing is fine. They're not like they're not being malicious. They're just booing. It's as a sports fan, it's normal. Um, but yeah, Dallas Fuel just dominated. It was so much fun to just watch. Like even though this was a 4-0, I would definitely go back and rewatch this one because it's just so much fun to see the home crowd like get their team announced at their in their hometown for the first time. Mickey waving that Texas flag. I mean, just fantastic to see um, this crowd go just so nuts for all these players and get to root them on for the first time in Dallas. It's a great moment. Even though they 4-0'd Los Angeles and it wasn't that good of a match, it was still super entertaining to watch how dominant Dallas was in this match. And it felt like it was the energy in the room, like giving them the power to destroy LA in this match.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I summed it
Not
up
not
pretty
much
well.
else to say.
Yeah, 4-0. Nice and easy. Which is more impressive by once we get to Valiant's performance on Sunday, which was a way better day. Sunday had some fantastic games. Not to say Saturday was bad, but Saturday was still fun. But match wise, we got some even better matches. Um, I think there's an obvious match to rewatch this week, of course, which is that Texas rivalry. But I'm going with the other. I'm going with a different one here because the other one is a little more obvious, and we need another one. If you don't want to rewatch Houston Dallas, you can rewatch Hangzhou Paris, which I was super surprised at how close and insanely well this match was. Very long. It was a very very long match. But it was
Yeah, I think the VOD is like more than 2 hours.
yeah, a very very long match, but it's the reason it's long is because both of these teams are just won't just are going back and forth the entirety of this match, and it was so close on every single map. And it was a lot of fun to watch. Both of these teams actually were looking really good. Even Paris. Paris, yeah, which is surprising because I've never been too high on Paris. Uh, but towards the end, I would say, like on Junkertown and on Busan, Paris was looking a little bit worse, looking like they got some fatigue going on. Cruz was making some weird plays. There were just some there were overall some weird decisions by Paris, and the alt management was not as good. It seemed like fatigue was in them because Hangzhou I think had some nice. Junkertown was close, but Busan Hangzhou just took it 2-0 and won the entire match. But let's talk Hangzhou, Joe, because Hangzhou they go into Dallas. They have a 2-0 week. They're now 4-2 this stage. Last stage was a bit of a disappointment. They're scrim gods apparently, um, but here they are, 4-2, looking like they're in a great position to make stage playoffs. They are at a -3 map differential though. This stage, which is funny.
I thought it was interesting. They're also the only expansion team other than Vancouver in the top 10
Wow,
currently in the season.
wow. In the season, in
They're
the
at
season
9.
standings. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I see that. Wow, yeah. Expansion teams no longer. Atlanta and Toronto just dipped. But yeah, there is Hangzhou the real deal now, Joe, or do we need to see more? Because this was just Chengdu and Paris, right?
Yeah, I mean it's I'm pulling up their schedule now so I can look at it, but it's again sort of an interesting team. Underperformed from where a lot of people had them, and they did have a relatively difficult sort of mid stage schedule. I mean they played Shock twice already. They played Vancouver, they played Gladiators, they played London. Um, Back when London was good, I think. I forget if they beat London. That it was in week 2 of stage 1. But but yeah, it's they play Seoul here in week 5 to round out the stage. But yeah, it's a very interesting team. Um, I think. I mean, obviously, we've seen that they have the skills to be successful. Um, that um, whether it's the star power from like individual players, like Gushui, like IDK, like
Godsby.
Crystal is Crystal in that team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Godsby's a pretty.
I feel like I
He's
should know,
God.
but
Yeah.
it's true. It's true. But yeah, at the same time, they've the 7-6, just barely pulling out the winning record. Um, I don't know. I think they can definitely be, a mid-table team is absolutely absolutely fair of them. I mean, I don't quite see them. Well, I mean, and as we've seen in some of their head-to-head matches, quite on the level of a team like Seoul or a team like London or Dallas. But yeah, right up there and being competitive in this stage, sitting at 4-2 and number 7 right now. And I think I was looking at the math, and I think there's going to be at least one 4-3 team that makes the top 8. I believe.
Yeah.
But
Probably.
definitely 5-2 is the way they want to finish the stage. Um, to ensure the chance. Because yeah, with a -3 map differential, if they lose this match to Seoul this upcoming week, Seoul goes to at worst 4-3, and Hangzhou also 4-3, but with a terrible map record. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be close for them. They're gonna be the cutoff, I think, either way. Over teams like, I mean, there's Shanghai is right now sitting at ninth, but they're like the other team that could hop in there if Hangzhou doesn't.
Yeah, and you
Although then again, I think they're playing Vancouver this week, aren't they?
are the I can't remember.
Shanghai, or no, they're playing Washington and Shock. Yeah,
Uh,
so
yeah, shock.
either way,
They're be good.
yeah,
Yeah, I think there should be one 4-3 team probably, but Hangzhou definitely needs a win because they're at -3 map differential right now. That's not going to get you in. That's for sure not going to get you in. But yeah, they're looking better. We do need to see them against the top teams again, but they're consistently beating teams that they should probably beat if they would like to be a top tier team. So which is that's nice.
it's
Uh,
true.
it's good to see more competition always, especially from a pink and blue popular team.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Chengdu Hunters versus the London Spitfire, in which Chengdu, after London went on a little winning streak here, was the first team to take down the London Spitfire this stage. They did so 3-1. Didn't even have to go to 5 maps, and they looked good. Chengdu sometimes they look okay, but sometimes they look really good. And I think it's when they're on maps where their individual talent and players like Jinmu and can just go on DPS and sort of look really good. I mean, they full held London on Eichenwald. They had a pretty good defense on Rialto as well. So a lot of people speculating that London lost this because they were playing to Chengdu's strategies. Do you agree with that statement, Joe?
Yeah, I was just about to say that yeah, whether it was London trying to play into Chengdu or Chengdu just dominating with their own thing. But yeah, they were definitely not quite playing the game that we would have expected from London for whatever reason. Obviously they did take the assault map in a fifth or a sixth round, I guess. But yeah, beyond that, it was definitely a Chengdu show. Showing how good they are at the things they do. I mean, I'm trying to remember their IQ wall defense was like, you know, Junkrat, Farah, Wrecking Ball. I don't even know, but very Chengdu composition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's London trying to play that's not as successful. I mean, they don't have the experience with that. They don't they might have the raw skill, but just like any other composition, it takes time and it takes working out the kinks for it to actually find success against this team that's got it down so well.
Yeah, I find it funny because me and you talked about how London would be a lot better on DPS heroes, and it wouldn't matter because they just have pure raw skill. But when they did try to play the same comps as Chengdu, they did not look as good as Chengdu. And it feels like London has just gotten better at goats, and now they've lost touch with the other side of them. But yeah, London. I mean, I wouldn't. Chengdu is good. Chengdu can pull out some of these wins, some of these upsets for sure. And I think they especially confuse the top teams because most of the top teams right now are top teams because they're very good at running goats. And I would say London has gotten very good at goats as well to the point where they are doing super well in this stage and they're starting to climb the standings pretty easily. So I think Chengdu can confuse these teams who are mostly playing goats, and they do it because they're so dominant at goats that there's no reason they should get off goats. So that's why Vancouver, San Francisco, all these people at the top right now are just really good at goats. And when they're facing Chengdu, like Vancouver had to go to 5 maps, like it's a much closer game because Chengdu plays their style so well that it's not just San Francisco or these teams just dominating them in goats because Chengdu's not playing goats. They're playing a different strategy these teams aren't quite used to. All right, let's move on to Seoul, LA Valiant, and we mentioned it earlier. LA Valiant looking a lot better in this match than they did against Dallas home field or something like that. But I thought LA possibly could have pulled this out for a second. This was a very, very close match. There were some crazy ups and downs. Kings Row went to a second round in Seoul, like had barely any time, but they took it all the way down that map once again and won 6-3 on that map. But LA Valiant, I've been saying at this stage, they're looking a lot better. Seoul's a really good team, and going to 5 maps, obviously you want to pull out a win at some point if you're the Los Angeles Valiant, because I think they're standing at like 2-12 now on the season, or maybe 2-11. But they are
Yeah, 2-11, I think.
2-11. Yes, two
Or
and
2 and
eleven.
12.
Yeah, it's two
Something
and
like that.
eleven. 2-11. Yeah, they're gonna have to pull out a win at some point because they're one game away from being halfway through the season here. So you're really gonna need to start winning.
Yeah, I mean, once you hit 14 losses, that's a 500 or below season record, and
Yeah.
that's not gonna do good for you.
Oh yeah, but I feel like they've gone through a pretty hard part of their schedule so far, especially last stage. It's been a little bit easier this stage, but they've got Chengdu next week as well. I mean, LA Valiant, I think they've got talent, but it might be too late at this point, Joe, which is unfortunate for them. But I definitely could
Yeah.
see them pulling out some upsets. They were close here. Um, but yeah, we could talk about LA Valiant, but let's talk about Seoul right now because I think Seoul is getting to a point where they're very, very good. Would you say they're up there with the elite teams yet, Joe?
I think it depends on how you define elite, is fair to say.
Yeah.
Like, do I think they're going to beat Vancouver in week 5? I know I don't. But it's do I think they're going to beat Hangzhou in week 5? I think that's probably likely. Uh, if, in fact, I think we're picking that later, so maybe spoilers. But
Yeah, that's right.
uh, but yeah, that's in the grand scheme of the table of teams, they're sitting at 8 right now in the stage and overall. 7-5 on the season, and yeah, absolutely. I think Seoul and Dallas, and Shanghai, maybe Hangzhou, probably Philly. Honestly, he can all be in that tier 2B or 3. Um, if we call like Vancouver, New York, San Francisco, LA, Gladiators, if that's like the top tier, I guess we can throw London maybe into the second as well. I
Yeah.
do like London, Philly, Dallas. Um, and granted, that's just uh, me reading the standings verbatim, but they're pretty accurate is the point.
They
And
are.
yeah, I think Seoul is they're right up there. I think it's like I said, if you're thinking elite, like up there on the top with these divisional powerhouses, that's a different question. But are they definitely a competitive team? And and with lots of different faces now. I mean, we haven't seen Fissure played for a good amount of time, and they're still having good success, and that's a valuable thing. That's a positive thing if you're a Soul fan. Knowing that they have the depth that they're probably going to need later in the season as stuff comes up.
Yeah, I mean, ugh. I, as far as the Fisher thing goes, it's gonna be crazy if he's once again on another team here.
Yeah. Yes, Soul just decides, oh, we don't actually need him, so we'll just give
Yeah,
him to somebody else.
or honestly, the most likely situation I see is they continue to not play him because they like Marvel better, which I don't blame. Like Marvel's doing well, he's doing super well. uh, and Fisher demands a trade or something like that. Like knowing his personality, I believe he would. The way they would get rid of him is only if he demanded a trade because he wants to be actually playing on a team, and then maybe he goes to the Washington Justice, where they are taking all of the bench players from other teams, other Korean teams all over the place. So, which would be super interesting, to say
Yeah.
the least.
Janice gets benched again.
Yeah, Janice, the whole starting point to this roster gets sent to the bench. But yeah, Fissure not playing, but Soul looking better than ever, honestly. So I don't see them playing Fissure anytime soon. Maybe against Vancouver. Maybe they need that aggressiveness against Vancouver, but
Well, yeah, maybe that's their big secret. Like
he's been
he's been
training,
training for weeks just for
training,
this one match.
training for bumper. This is gonna be like the third time they played Vancouver, right? Already.
Soul, I'm trying to think. Have they played him once already?
Um,
Seoul has
yeah, they
played Vancouver, yeah, in week two and now in week five of stage two.
and also in the stage playoffs last
Yeah.
stage. So this is the third time that they are playing each other already. That's crazy. But Seoul has gotten demoralized every time, in my opinion. It hasn't been that bad of crushing, but it hasn't been close, really. Okay, last game, Houston Dallas. They saved the best for last, no doubt about that.
Intentionally, of
Yes,
course.
yes, yes. I expected Dallas to absolutely stomp, but this was actually a very close match, Joe. I know it was 3-1, but I think every single map was super, super close. Besides Lijiang Tower, the first map, in which Dallas absolutely handed it to them, just destroying them. And I thought, wow, we're in for a long match here for the Houston
Yeah.
Outlaws. But they came out on Anubis and they looked really good on defense. I think lately Houston's defense has been stellar. Their offense has been where there's been some trouble. But once again, they come out on top of Anubis. Jake's on that Junkrat. I mean, they're on that Orisa strat on that first part of the map, and whenever they're on these heroes, Joe, they look so comfortable. They look so good, and it just pains me to see them switch. But honestly, they didn't look too bad when they switched to goats either. They were playing up to Dallas super well. This is the best I've seen Houston since maybe even last season. Honestly, they have had some bright spots this season so far, but they were looking pretty good, right, Joe?
Absolutely. I mean, you can think about Gibraltar in particular. I mean, that was the map they were, playing for their life in the series. Um, um, trying to think. Yeah, because then they both completed, and that last first point push, both of them in overtime.
Yeah.
This close enough. They almost could have uh, very easily sent that to a fifth map, and I think lots of people in the crowd were probably expecting that, honestly, just for the sake of excitement and how well these teams were playing. But yeah, it was very exciting, very close, basically on every map. Um, And just the spectacle of the match itself was just crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean the crowd was crazy because not only did you have Dallas fans, you had Houston fans in there too. So they were just going back and forth, and you could hear a good amount of cheers whenever Houston was doing well as well. So it seemed like there were definitely more Dallas fans, but there were a good amount of Houston fans in there too. And that was just, I mean, they kept doing these like cheesy, weird like fan show, like, and then they did like a Rhine race at halftime.
Which is funny because you think he could just charge and like win,
Yeah,
but they were wearing this big bulky like cosplay thing, and so they had to like tiptoe down the road that they had.
I think it was like a 5 step race. It was very short. Everyone was like,
Yeah,
"Wow, it's already over." But yeah, that was they had just a bunch of fun little competitions between these fans, basically. But Houston, I mean, they looked pretty good. I don't think anyone they're like the main story here because I think everyone expected Dallas to stomp. Dallas still won, and they look good. They looked great overall this weekend, and I think we should talk about OG in his crying at the end there as they all stood on stage. What a moment, right, Joe? I mean, just going through his story and he boosted back in Korea, got suspended before he could play here in the league. Korean casters wouldn't even say his name. They didn't like him and his boosting so much. I mean, over in Korea, boosting's way bigger of a deal. It's like a huge offense. So he's gone from that point all the way to here, where I don't think there's any argument that this guy is the best player on Dallas Fuel, right, Joe?
I mean at this point it's definitely looking that way. Yeah, just popping off in both series that he played. Um, like if the crowd ever chanted the name of a Dallas player, it was always OGE. Um, that yeah, and at the end they win, they beat Houston. He's standing on the stage and just uh, all that chanting. I mean, if the Overwatch League is not an anime, I don't know what is. Um, yeah, just an incredible player. A really, like we said, really good series. Um, this week and being able to go back and have that success. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I forget if you said it explicitly, but I'll say it. That yeah, this is uh, both of our picks for MVP this week. We always pick an MVP, each of us collectively, but in this case, OG gets um, both from this week. It's just a crazy week for him.
Yeah, I don't think if anyone is the first player to deserve a duo MVP from both of the hosts of On the Flank, it's OG. He did super well this weekend, and I think he just popped off on every map. Looked so well, and finished the weekend off crying tears of joy on that stage, which was fitting as they chanted his name. I mean, yeah, it it felt like a storybook moment, Joe. You're correct. It is an anime for once. Monty is wrong. Um, but yeah, this was a great match. I did not expect it to be such a great match. So props to Houston for stepping up and playing well, because I after the Seoul match, I was like, this team is absolute garbage. And after the first map, I also said, this team is absolute garbage. Uh, but they proved me wrong that they're not absolute garbage. They're just trash sometimes, and then other times they're not. They're fine. Um, but yeah, with Houston, hopefully they improve. I mean, they stepped up big here, and they knew it was a game that they should play. So hopefully they continue to improve because I think they have a lot of fans that would like that to happen. Did you also see? I guess we could talk about because this was a funny moment when it was Houston versus Seoul when Monty sort of called Houston fans out, or Houston out in general when Houston fans had to be dismayed, and then he said, "Well, they're probably used to that by now."
Oh yeah,
And all the fans in the arena just like booed a bit. Just got they all hate Monty.
yeah. Because where's the fun otherwise?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
And
but
yeah,
yes, I don't think I'd explicitly said it. But yeah, this match is the one that I'm picking as one you should go rewatch as well. This Dallas Houston match. I imagine already, if you only watched one match from this past weekend, it was that one. But if you didn't, you need to go back and see it. It's important.
absolutely. If you're a fan of the Overwatch League, watch this match.
Pretty
Like
much.
this honestly might be like the one match to rewatch throughout the season even because this just like shows what's going to happen next year.
Yeah,
That's
I guess, except for whatever they might have up their sleeves for Atlanta.
oh yeah.
We'll see.
We will see. Uh that was a fantastic weekend overall. Um yeah, just really fun. And I cannot wait until next season now. That's all I could think during this entire thing. I was like, give me next season right now, please. Because I hope different crowds like develop different personalities too, and maybe different chants and stuff like that. People already talking about the Philadelphia crowd because Philly is known as the craziest sports crowd probably in America. Because these people are just destroying things all the time, and they're insane. They're insane people, which is fun. It's so much fun. But those Philly people are just crazy. So I can't wait to see the different personalities in each crowd. I know NYXL already has a huge following. Like we'll go out and we'll go out to Washington, we'll go out to Florida, and we'll see nobody in the crowd. Like every crowd will have a different personality, and that's great. I can't wait till next season. uh, should we go over the standings real quick, Joe?
Sure. Yeah, going into week five, lots of the teams have either six or five matches done.
Yeah. I don't think
I just realized that means nobody gets a bye this week. I
yeah,
wonder if they did that intentionally.
yeah. Nobody has finished every match, but we have. I wish on like the website they would do that eliminated clinched standings thing because
Oh yeah.
that'd be very helpful for me. But I think that's on their
Yeah,
Twitter. Maybe should I scroll through their Twitter? Is it worth it to find this graphic?
I mean, it's basically like the first four or five have clinched,
Yeah,
and the last four or five haven't.
that's true. But I think
Actually,
we
I
can.
think if you still have three losses or fewer, you still technically have a chance.
Okay. Yeah, I think we could. I mean, we can insinuate who's in the running here
Uh,
for making this. But yeah, I think LA Gladiators, Shock, Titans, Excelsior. I think London also has clinched. I think London, Excelsior, Titans, Shock, Gladiators have all clinched. Possibly, I
yeah,
think so because
that sounds right.
London's map differential is insane right now. It's plus 12. So I think they clinched off map differential. I think they clinched when they won that map against Chengdu. Even though they lost the match against Chengdu, I think when they won the map was when they clinched. So those five have clinched. We're just looking to fill out those last three spots, and you have Dallas Fuel there in six at 4-2 right now with a +3 map differential. Then you got Hangzhou Spark at 4-2 with a -3 map differential, which is not good. Seoul Dynasty at 3-2 at number 8, and then after the cutoff, you have Shanghai Dragons also at 3-2. You have Chengdu and Philly at 3-3, and then it's most likely it's not likely for Boston here at 2-3, but I guess they probably still have a chance. Um, if they win
Yeah,
both
I mean
games, 4-0
they'd have
both
to
games.
yeah, pretty decisively, yeah, against Gladiators and Washington Justice.
One of those is a 4-0 for sure, possibly, but the other one is most likely not.
It's true. It's true.
So Boston technically still in the running, but I would probably count them out. But like Joe was saying, I would expect like maybe one, two, 4-3 teams at most to make it. Uh,
Yeah,
so it's looking pretty likely for Dallas here. Who's because
to go five
Dallas,
and two.
yeah, Dallas plays someone they should beat. I believe I can't remember who.
Florida.
Yes, so it's looking very likely for Dallas here. Hangzhou has a huge match against Seoul. If they win that, I think they're basically guaranteed to be in.
Yeah, and that's the very last match of the week too. So yeah, it'll go all the way that long, I think,
So
until we determine
yeah,
the actual
we'll know when we get there
top eight
then.
playoffs.
And Seoul plays, of course, Hangzhou and then Vancouver. So it's it's probably going to come down to that Hangzhou game, unless Shanghai is up there too. Shanghai could pull a little one here and sneak in. I think they have. You said they play
They
Shock as
play
well. So
and Justice, yeah.
yeah, so they're most likely going to go 4-3 based off of things. But if they have a nice map differential, they could possibly overcome Seoul or Hangzhou, the loser of that one, by the end of it all. So if it's looking like whoever loses that Hangzhou Seoul match might just be out completely. More likely for Hangzhou if they lose than Seoul because Seoul has a nice map differential going on.
It's true. It's true.
But we'll see when we get there. So just look towards that Hangzhou Seoul match, basically, which is the last game of the week. That's going to be the decider. There's not too, last week. I feel like it was a lot more up in the air as who would be in the stage playoffs. Last stage, that is in week 5.
Oh,
Uh,
well, yeah, I mean, because when we had like 12 teams that were 3-3 going
yeah,
into week five.
exactly. The last stage was a lot closer. This stage is like, yeah, we basically already know the top 6 unless Dallas has a massive collapse against Florida. But we
Yeah,
basically already know the top 6. It's just down to basically two or three teams fighting for it. I mean, possibly Chengdu too, and Philly, of course.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, there's not as much as last stage, but still some last second entries into this stage playoffs. But let's move on to the news because we have a lot of news.
we
Uh,
do.
yeah, and we have a PTR patch, and we know Joe, he's the patch man. But this is a different PTR patch, Joe, right?
It's true.
This is a completely new feature.
Yeah, and of course it's been out for a week because we always do our shows right before they drop new patches.
Of course.
But so we're probably the last to talk about it on the Overwatch podcast circuit. But yes, the Overwatch Workshop is out, um, as you have no doubt seen on the PTR. Super cool. If you're a like coder person or know how like computer languages work, or even just some basic computer science like logic type things, um, this is definitely a feature for you that they've um, been able to go build stuff with this new workshop tool in the custom game lobby. Um, and so yeah, on YouTube now, I'm sure if you can find out tons and tons and tons of different game modes people have already made, all the way from like the basic ones that Blizzard came out with, to like a copy of Gun Game, which was from what CS:GO, right?
Yeah.
Does Gun Game, stuff like that, all the way to stuff people have made like Hammond Racing or Lucio Racing. I've seen like videos or gifs of people trying to make a really primitive RPG with like NPC characters, which was interesting. I've seen versions of I've seen an Infinity Stone showdown mode. I've seen um, I don't know. I'm sure you've got some that I haven't thought of, but
I actually haven't seen that much yet. Where would I
uh,
go to find these? Because I
I've seen
want
a
to see
bunch.
some.
I've seen a bunch on Reddit. I know there's probably r/Overwatch. I know there's also r/Overwatch custom games,
Okay.
which used to be just for custom games, but now they've obviously with the workshop have seen a little bit of a revival.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm trying to think of other crazy modes I've seen. There's people who have made like entirely new hero prototypes, which is interesting. That was sort of something Jeff alluded to in the developer update. There was a developer update about this as well. Um, Obviously, it's hard because you can't have any like art that you've added or anything, but um, crazy stuff like that. I feel like there's at least one more that like was really cool that I said, oh, I got to mention this on the show. I don't know, but You get like a six-letter code, and that's how you can share uh, right around, between the PTR currently. But once it moves on to live, you can also copy it onto live with that code. Apparently, they only last like 6 months, so you'll have to refresh it after that if you want to keep playing that mode, which is interesting.
Hmm.
But just to save on memory, I guess. But yeah, it's I like the meme I saw somebody made about the Overwatch players saying, "Oh, we need more content," and Jeff says, "No, you." Um, but that is basically what it's been. I mean,
Yeah.
just people having fun with the game and experimenting with things and. Like you sort of mentioned, it's not really intended to be like for the entire player base, just because it's if they tried to make it with that kind of accessibility, it would be really difficult. Um, to do so because it definitely is pretty like heady. Like I don't think I'm gonna invest much time in it just because it's not something that I could easily understand well. Like it would take some work, but there are obviously tons of people who are really invested in putting in work for this and really trying to figure out how it's how they can do the things they want and just because I'm not going to be able to manipulate it very easily doesn't mean I'm not going to take advantage of the things that other people can do.
Yeah. I'm with you, Joe. I don't know that much about doing that stuff, and I watched when it first came out. I watched someone streaming it, and I was like, yeah, I would suck at this. I have no clue what's happening. So the streamer, to be fair, also did not know what was happening too much at the time. But yeah, that's a super fun feature for not. I'm not going to do anything but play these modes, but it's still fun for everybody. So all me and you have to do is just sit here and wait for someone to make the next big thing. Because modding in games has created so many amazing games. The whole MOBA genre came out of mods for Warcraft from Warcraft 3. So like that's pretty crazy.
I, I've seen one of those made in in a custom game already,
Oh really?
like Tower Defense MOBA. Yeah,
Oh wow, that's cool. I'll need to check that out. But yeah, overall, cool new feature. Didn't no one expected this, I don't think. So that
yeah.
good on them.
It, the that was sort of announced. He says, "Oh, this was like a passion project for a couple developers. That, yeah, not something people were necessarily asking for, but just something that's been in the works for a while."
Yeah.
And that is patch 1.36, by the way,
Mm,
in case you're following along with the numbers.
okay. Of course, we all are. But let's move on to the Overwatch World Cup 2019 was announced last week because they did announce some BlizzCon things, so that they of course had to announce this as well. And due to the Overwatch League going into territories, as in September, going into September, that they usually don't go there. That's usually when the World Cup group stages is August September. So Overwatch League is going to be taking over that spot, and since that is happening, they have decided to move group stages to BlizzCon itself. So
And cut
it's
them in like half, essentially.
yes, but basically, it's like a it's different. It's a shortened version of the World Cup, basically. I'm glad. I think everyone was suspecting maybe we wouldn't have it, but I'm glad we still have it. Um, but basically, I'll read it off. Before the BlizzCon doors open, we will start with the preliminary rounds. Fans will be able to cheer on their teams and spectate their amazing plays online. After BlizzCon's opening ceremony on Friday, November 1st, the group stage will commence with multiple matches being played simultaneously. Finally, the top six teams from the group stage will advance to the single elimination playoff bracket to award gold, silver, and bronze medal in the BlizzCon arena on Saturday, November 2nd. Um, so all of the group stage is on Friday, and then all of the playoffs is on Saturday. And the playoffs, instead of 8 teams, which is what it usually is, it's only 6 teams. So you'll have some bye weeks, or you'll have some bye players or teams that earn a bye. I'm guessing the top two seeds probably.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's just condensed basically.
Yeah, it's interesting. They have basically all of the countries. I don't know how many countries they start with, like 24 or something maybe. Um, and they'll give them points based on past Overwatch World Cup rankings to sort of seed them. And then there's a single elimination bracket to get to the top 10. Um,
And
yeah.
and
Yeah, and that's the online stuff before BlizzCon happens. To get to the top 10. Um, and then the top five are automatically seeded into this group stage, and the remaining five are somehow qualified differently into two groups of five, which will play then at BlizzCon on that Friday, four matches each. To do a round robin within the group. So I assume that's just four match slots, and there'll be one match from one group and one match from the other happening at the same time.
probably.
Or actually, wait, because if they're actually playing a full round robin with five teams, they have to. It's going to take more than four rounds. It's going to take.
Yeah.
It's going to take. But I guess you could do it with four rounds if they have like five matches going on at once. So maybe they'll do five matches at once uh, on BlizzCon to try to fit it at the same time. I don't know,
Yeah.
but the top team from each group goes to the second round of the playoffs, the round of four, and the next four also advance to qualify into the round of four. And then it's just another single elimination tournament. So yeah, super short, um, but it still does exist, which is nice, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
And this will be like a little preview of, I'm guessing, next Overwatch League season. I'm guessing games will probably be happening at the same time since they're in different arenas. So this will be a little preview for them since they're doing multiple matches at once, and they will be broadcasting multiple matches at once. So you can watch the one you want to watch and not miss any of your teams. I'm guessing if you don't want to. I mean, that's gonna be nice.
it's
Uh,
true. If you thought there was a lot of Overwatch this season, just wait.
yeah. We'll see how many they're broadcasting and stuff like that. But only 10 teams making it onto the group stage this time around. Last time it was 16 or something. Or maybe, no, last time it was lots were in the group stage. But the group stage wasn't at BlizzCon because they had 6 teams per group stage, right?
At
So that's
BlizzCon, that
not at,
sounds right. Yeah,
yeah,
or at the group
before,
stages. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then they only had like 8. Well, I can't remember. Um, but yeah, Overwatch World Cup, that's still happening. It's a lot less is happening, but it's still happening. And USA is going to win. USA. USA.
There you
Uh,
go.
yeah, right there. There it is. You guys heard it here first. USA is going to be winning. Um, no, it's probably Korea, obviously.
Well,
That's
I thought it was interesting. The press release like straight up said that they're like, uh, of course, the three-time reigning champion South Korea will try to hold on to their dynasty of digital dominance to bring home the gold medal once again, but the gap at the top is looking narrower than it has ever
wow.
before.
I mean, that's literally the whole storyline with the World Cup is who can beat South Korea.
It's just funny that like that's like straight up. That's like the second sentence of the
Yeah,
article.
yeah. Um, I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, to be fair, compared to like League of Legends and stuff like that, I think Overwatch is the gap is super close. Obviously, you have like CS:GO where Koreans aren't that good at CS:GO and stuff like that, but this is, I mean, you should in like the League of Legends, it is crazy. Like the Koreans are so much better at League of Legends than almost any other region. So it's pretty cool to see how close this is. I mean, their team, England almost, the United Kingdom almost beat South Korea last season. or last time, and USA almost beat them too. So
It's true.
um, in the previous one that was. So there's always a close game against South Korea, even if they keep winning, and it's obvious to some fans that they're going to keep winning. There's some teams that challenge them pretty well. So watch that for sure. Maybe I'll go to BlizzCon since I'm in California. That'd be sweet.
It's true.
All Stars. That's coming up. We got some more details on All Stars announced. That's on Wednesday, May 15th and Thursday, May 16th. I did not expect it to be in the middle of the week, but apparently it is. It's a very
Yeah,
interesting choice.
I thought that was odd too.
Yeah, because that is very, yeah, I don't know why. That's weird. Um, but I think it's because maybe they just want to get it over with as soon as they can and give these players their break.
It's true.
Also, All Stars is kind of a joke right now to me because of the players who are currently voted in, which includes Pine, a person who has not played at all this season. He is an All Star.
I hadn't
Uh,
seen that.
yeah, Pine.
Try, trying to figure out where to find that.
Yeah, it's really hard to find. Like the other day, I was going through, it's not anywhere on this article announcing, like the press release announcing everything. Like, I don't know where to find the voting. It takes a long time. You have to, like, click a bunch of links.
Huh.
But they have, yeah, they have, see if you click learn more. Like, where do I go? Where do I go to find the players? But yeah, basically, I mean, last time we talked about this too. It was, it was pretty, especially on the Pacific side, it was almost all Chengdu players because of the massive amount of Chinese fans.
Which, granted, was more of a joke at the time than it is now, but still.
Because the joke now is Pine is an all-star. Oh yeah, I finally got to the page. Yeah, honestly, the most ridiculous one is Pine, because he has. I mean, Pine's a good player, but he hasn't played at all this season, so he doesn't deserve to be an all-star. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people who are voting for Pine, but but he hasn't played at all. Um, I mean, none of these are. Carpe's great, of course. Poco's great, of course. Jonak's great, of course. Fusions is great, in my opinion. Arc, he's just a popular player. I don't think he's all-star worthy. On the other side, you have Pacific. You have Ryu Jae-hong, Fleta, who doesn't even play for his team anymore. You have Among and Jinmu, I think, are really talented players, so they're fine. I think the most egregious thing with Pacific, I know the Chengdu Hunters, popular Chinese fans, I think the most egregious thing is there are two teams here, Joe, that are probably the two best teams in this league, and they dominate everybody else. And their names are the Vancouver Titans and the San Francisco Shock. And they don't have a single player from either of those teams in this starting lineup, even though they
Or,
have the best players in the league.
or any gladiators, even.
Yeah, no gladiators. The best team represented here is the Seoul Dynasty, with Ryu Jae-hong and Fleta. And in my opinion, Ryu
Those aren't
Jae-hong's
even the best players on the team.
yeah, Ryu Jae-hong's doing good lately, I guess, but he's not been a great flex support in this league to be quite honest with you. And Fleta is not even playing right now. Um,
I guess that's why they have the other 12 that are selected by like coaches.
yes. I mean, they're gonna have these guys. The starters are gonna be in for one map, and then you just take them out because they're not the best players on the team.
At least some of them, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You just have big Chinese fans. That's the reason. I don't understand you, Yveltal at all. He's the other Chengdu hunter in here. I guess he's really popular in China because I don't think I think he's like one of the worst players on Chengdu in my opinion. So this is just interesting. I Someone was mentioning on the Thorin and Monte Cristo podcast. I think it was Hex was mentioning that they should have like at the end of the season they should have like all team awards type thing where like actual people, not the fans, actual like people in the scene vote for who deserves to be like the Atlantic all team, which would essentially be the best six players in the Atlantic and the best six players in the Pacific, because this is just utter disrespect to San Francisco and Vancouver, the two best teams in this league, because
Yeah.
their players are insane and definitely deserve to be on that roster. I think this is officially the start of people not taking this too seriously, based off of Pine starting for the Atlantic Division. Um,
We do know
which
the
is
format though.
Yes, that's key, Joe. That's exactly what we're here to talk about. Because we have the first day is gonna be just fun custom match stuff, like usual. And the first thing is the All Star Arcade presented by State Farm. And
Because of
you
course.
Yes, and you get to choose the voting via Twitter.
Or they maybe have already been chosen
Oh
because
yes,
the polls are closed. But
you can't choose anymore, but something will be chosen. So do you? How many modes is it? How many modes are they choosing? Does it say?
that's a good question. It doesn't say. They had two Twitter polls because there were 8 modes they presented. Um, there are two Twitter polls, and so the ones that won was sibling rivalry, which is 6v6 with 3 Genjis and 3 Hanzos,
Ooh.
but playing Hanamura, and healers never die, which is interesting actually. That's not the one I would have expected, but 6v6 supports only um,
Oh.
are the two that won the polls, and then beyond that there were the other options: 6v6 tanks only, 6v6 DPS only, 6v6 McCree only, which I think would be cool. That actually was number 4 out of 4 on the poll that it was included.
Ooh.
Um,
No one wants to see that.
yeah, they liked the no. There's also a no tanks mode, which got second on its poll, and new blood post release heroes only also got second on its polls. So maybe those are the 4 modes that they end up playing or something. But
Yeah. I'm surprised by the supports only because I think people are sick of seeing supports, but apparently not.
I mean, back when Symmetra was a support, that could have been cool.
Yeah. Um, I was thinking the no tanks would be just top tier, which it's pretty close, just because tanks are so overpowered in this game,
Yeah.
that I think it would be interesting. But yeah, the 3 Genjis, 3 Hanzos, that's just like a meme almost. I don't know how exciting that's gonna be, but that's a meme.
With the post release heroes, I like that one because it's like
Yeah,
Ana, Doomfist, Orisa, and then
there's not too many
Brig,
options.
Moira, Batiste, Wrecking Ball,
Yeah, yeah.
Ashe.
Those would be fun. Those would be fun.
Yeah,
And then, of course, after that, you have the Talent Takedown presented by T-Mobile.
of
Uh,
course.
and this will be players will be casting it once again. This is the same thing as last season, um, with of course the talent playing each other. And this was probably the most hype part for everyone because of how much they were talking trash. So I think everyone's excited for that. Uh, Widowmaker 1v1s, once again, this was very fun. It was long, but it was very fun. I don't think they changed the length at all, though. First to 7 eliminations, first to 9 in the finals. Yep. Uh, yeah, it was fun to watch these. So we'll see. I mean, how did they get in? It was based off of whoever was an all-star first, and then I
And then it was
think
just
they're
like one
just
per team or something.
yeah, it was like
Last
chosen.
last season it was. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it does, but that was fun. So they're doing that again, and then Thursday is going to be the actual All Star game.
And they learned that the Ashe ones are lame,
Oh yeah, like the
or at
Ash
least
1v1s.
yeah, or at least not as exciting as Widow. I thought when they did them for preseason.
Oh yeah, yep. I think Widow's better. Um, yeah,
Because
but
Ashe,
besides, go ahead.
I was just gonna say because Ashe was new, and so like, hey, we got to use Ashe, but
Yeah,
now nobody's played Ashe, so
yeah. Ash is still a fun hero though. Just not too powerful yet. Two times the league tokens for watching this, by the way. So even if you don't want to watch this and you're bored by it, just keep it playing on your Twitch and leave your computer.
And of
I
course the skins.
Yes, the skins, and they're cheaper this year. Only $10 to
Are
buy
they?
both skins, right?
I thought that was the same.
I
Let
think
me
it
let me go back.
was I think it was
Wait,
$20 to buy both skins, right? Or are
oh,
they $10 per
so
skins?
maybe I did my math wrong because I think it's the same. It's still 200 tokens each, just like it was last time. So maybe I did my math wrong.
Oh,
Maybe it is twenty
okay.
dollars.
Well, then it's it's $10 per skin and $20 total. Okay. So I just misunderstood it, maybe. But yeah, $10 per skin, and they look good. They look really good. They're cool. Mercy is representing the Atlantic, and she's sporting some blue and purplish. Um, and then Lucio's uh, Pacific, and he's looking yellow and gray, and they look cool, just like last year's. Even though Tracer's looked a little wonky, but Genji's looked pretty cool last year. They're still pretty expensive, but if you saved up those tokens, I mean, getting tokens is a lot easier this year. I've noticed. So
It's true.
if you've saved up those tokens, then you're gonna get these cool skins.
Yeah, I had a 100 drop during this
Oh,
event. Yeah, yeah, $20 total. 200 credits each.
okay, cool. So that's my mistake. Yeah, but yeah, we got the All Star game. I mean, I'm treating it like a joke right now, but maybe it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It will be fun, and I think the players will embrace the joke for sure.
Yeah, I think they definitely did last year. So
Yes, exactly. So besides news, we got some quick points of news here before we get into the games. This has been a long episode, is what I just realized.
it's true.
Um,
So the skins will be available May 7th for the Overwatch League All Stars, which also works out to be the last day of the archives event. So a week from today, probably as we drop our next podcast, will be when that update, whatever update it ends up being, changes over to takeaway archives. Presumably the home screen will change to the to the Mercy Lucio skins.
yep.
Um, and archives will be over for like 3 weeks until the anniversary comes back,
Yeah.
and then maybe they'll do all modes again, and you can play archives again.
Ooh, fun. Yeah. So last week of archives, I still got to get in some archives games. I've been busy, but this week's a very light week for me, so I'm excited. Maybe I'll hop on. But yeah, season 16 announcement, which is great. We finally got changes besides shortening the off season and all of that in a season. We haven't gotten that in a very long time, I feel like. But this only affects GM players. They can no longer queue with more than two players, so you can only duo and solo queue now, which apparently was a big complaint out of the GM players. I wouldn't know because I am not one. But apparently, all these pro players are trio queuing together and ruining everybody's games, so they fixed that, and everyone is happy.
The end.
The end. Maybe one day me and Joe will be up there duo queuing together and not adding a third person, Joe, because we can't.
It's true. And then we'll
Uh,
have more to say about it.
yeah, exactly. We have nothing to say. We cannot relate, but I'm happy for them. I'm happy for these people. And I'm jealous that I'm not there. Uh, London signed Quartermain. He's a support. I think the biggest place of note that he used to be on was Kungdu Uncia, and then eventually, when Cloud9 and Kungdu came together, he was on Cloud9 Kungdu, and of course, we know that Cloud9 Kungdu eventually changed into the London Spitfire. So I'm guessing he was on that roster and didn't was one of those players that didn't go over to London for whatever reason. Maybe it was age, maybe it was he wasn't good enough, but he's good enough now. So he's on the team and he's a support, and he has many alternate IDs uh, on Liquipedia. His name's Quartermain, but you can also call him Qmain, Q Qmain with a capital M as well. You can call him Quartermain, of course. So yeah, he's a Korean player. London Spitfire support. I don't know if he'll be playing at all, but they got him, Joe.
Yeah, I thought it was, interesting that he was signed at all. I mean, just
Yeah.
because you think London's got support pretty well taken care of, but yeah, Josin, Nuss, Krillin, now Quartermain. It's something.
Apparently, he made a song at the end of Apex Season 2. He made a song called Oh My. Um, oh, there's a YouTube link. I'm listening to the song now. But yeah, apparently he's a musical talent as well. So maybe they'll use him for that mainly. Oh my
There
god,
you go.
this is. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely. Oh my goodness, Joe. I'm gonna send you this link.
I have it here. I have it
Okay,
here.
cool. This is
Gonna have to
fantastic.
listen to it later.
Yeah, yeah, this is
Maybe,
absolutely fantastic.
maybe we'll tweet it on our Twitter.
Yeah. Oh my God, London just made the best signing ever. I think this is so good.
Here,
Uh,
I'll tweet it for us.
yes, yes. Oh my, I have to download this song. This is a good song. Okay, and this is fantastic. Okay, let's move on to week five. That's our only analysis on him. Week five, there aren't too many good match. I went through the list and I was like, that team wins, that team wins, that team wins. Like it's pretty obvious to me in most of these, but of course, you have some important games like Seoul Dynasty, Hangzhou Spark, and stuff like that. These teams, as Joe has pointed out on the rundown, they're looking for a 5-2 minimum. There's likely to be at most two 4-3 teams because we're thinking London's our Dallas Fuel makes it at 5-2 with an easy matchup this week against Florida. But let's jump into our match predictions. If you haven't listened to the show before, we predict 4 matches each week. I'm dominating Joe, and it's too easy for me.
Oh,
No,
but by
what?
by three, I mean.
Dominance, Joe. Uh, yeah, but it's been. What record did I go last week? 3-1.
You went 4-0 again last week.
Oh, I went 4-0 again. Jeez.
Yeah, you're on a hot streak.
That's 2 weeks in a row. That's 2 weeks in a row I've gone 4-0. And you went 3-1, Joe?
Something like that. I don't remember honestly.
Yeah, I
But
think you went
we're at
3-1. Because we
22
only
and
picked.
19.
Okay. That's what I'm at 22 wins. You're at 19. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, Joe's got some catching up to do. That means Joe, you're in a weaker position. You might have to pick some opposites from me. I think we should do a new rule where since I'm in the lead, I should have to pick first, okay? And then
Oh,
yeah. So if you're like, okay, like I think I have a better pick, like you could make the second pick. Like I think that would make more sense.
that
Uh,
works. That works.
yeah, because picking second's a little bit of an advantage, you know. Sometimes you can then pick the opposite and be like, oh, like I have a feeling this is gonna happen, and I want to, it's sort of an angle. So first one we're doing is Thursday, the third game on Thursday, and of course there are only 3 games on Thursday and Friday. Uh, the first one we're doing is Thursday, third game, Guangzhou versus Houston, which it should be a good match, especially after how if Houston's looking the same they did against Dallas. I think this one's gonna be a little bit harder to pick. If Houston got absolutely crushed by Dallas, I think everyone would be picking Guangzhou, but Houston looked pretty good in their last match. Uh, so I guess I have to pick first. I feel like you usually pick first because my
Oh, I
tempo's
do. Yeah.
my tempo's messed up here. Um, but I'm still gonna go Guangzhou because I don't know. I can't trust Houston. As a former Houston fan, I feel myself almost rooting against them because I don't want to start rooting for them again. Um, so I'm going Guangzhou here. I think Guangzhou's had a tough schedule, and I think they've got a lot of talent, and they've had a long time to prepare for this one. Houston's just getting right back into it after last week.
Yeah. I am also picking Guangzhou. I think for this match, that there's a later match we're picking this week that I probably will intentionally pick the one you don't. But
Okay.
uh, but for this one, I've got to go with you that yeah, Guangzhou has had a week off. I think they are a stronger team than their record has shown. Obviously, this is a match both teams pretty near the bottom here in stage two, but uh, it's still definitely going to be significant for both of them. Talking about quality wins and like relative wins for teams that they need to be beating in order to sort of lift themselves out from where they're at. But yeah, I think Guangzhou. If we have the two teams that are looking towards some more DPS picks. I think Guangzhou and Houston is definitely some of them. But I really do like the way Guangzhou is able to execute some of those over what we've seen from Houston so far.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Houston, I just don't put your faith in Houston this season. That's my answer to this. We move on to Saturday, Friday, bad day. We move on to Saturday, and we have a Atlanta New York rematch. New York, of course, lost. This is their only loss this season. Was against Atlanta, and they lost to Atlanta. It's crazy, but does that happen again, Joe? Can it just happen again that New York just loses to the Atlanta Reign? I mean, come on, right? I'm going New York. It's obvious New York's gonna win this one. They're probably gonna destroy them too, 4-0. Like I think that was pretty much a fluke. I think New York will come out and be like, yeah, we're not losing to this team twice.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson from the stage one playoffs, and I think I'm not going to bet on New York in the stage two playoffs when we get there. But in the meantime, since this is not a playoff match, it's the same thing. I do think that New York is not going to let that happen twice. If nothing else, again, we've talked about this for several teams now. There's only 8 teams that travel to Dallas, and all these rest had a really nice long break to prepare here for the it's a crucial last week of the stage for lots of different teams, and so yeah, that I think there's no way that New York is going to let this happen again. Um, and of course, now saying that Atlanta's going to beat him again, but yeah, it's like I said, playoffs is a different story. But here, I think you got to give it to New York.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm gonna have a lot of trouble picking New York, especially I think this stage playoffs is a lot more talent filled than the last stage playoffs. I think like top tier teams are making stage playoffs this stage. So it depends who New York's playing, but yeah, I think New York playoff wise not looking good. Let's move on to Sunday. First game Sunday: Toronto Defiant versus the Paris Eternal. We haven't seen Toronto in a bit, but they've had a pretty abysmal stage, and they face Vancouver in their first match this week. Paris only has one match. It's against them. They have a nice little break after playing last week. They get to wait till the Sunday match, uh, and it will be at 12. So those Paris are 12 Pacific time. So that's a better time for Paris people over in the EU. So they'll get to watch it. But yeah, Paris, Toronto, both of these teams pretty middle of the pack right now. So this is going to be a pretty big one for both of them to sort of decide who's better at being in the middle of the pack. But who do I go with? I don't like picking Paris in general, and in that one week I felt like I had to pick Paris, so we didn't have like the same exact picks, and that wasn't fun for me. I think that was the week I went 0-4. Um, so do I pick Paris again? That's the question. I do think Paris is better than Toronto, so I'm gonna pick Paris, despite my reservations here. I'm picking Paris. Joe.
Okay. Okay, so and this was the match that I decided I was just gonna go opposite from you, so I'm going
Okay.
Toronto. I do my initial pick though was Paris also.
Okay.
That you're right. In general, I think they do have a little bit stronger team as far as all of that goes, but at the same time, they are pretty comparable. On the grand scale of things, which I just contradicted myself, but I don't care. I can do that if I want to. Um, but yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting match. It's probably the closest one we're picking um, this week. Um, but yeah, just because you said Paris, I'm gonna go Toronto.
All right. Taking advantage of having second pick here.
I mean, I kind of
Okay.
have to at this point.
Yeah, you got to. And I do agree. This is like a, I feel like a coin flip almost. Both these teams are pretty even. I think Paris might be a little better though. Seoul Dynasty Hangzhou Spark. This is the match of the week. This is going to be deciding match for who makes it into the stage playoffs. Hangzhou been looking a lot better this stage, but same with Seoul. And Seoul's just consistently looking better every single week, looking like a pretty good powerhouse. And now it seems like they've gotten a starting lineup down and stuff like that. This one's hard though because I am a big fan of how Hangzhou has been playing lately. I think this one's going to be very close, but I am going to go with Seoul. Yes, I'm going to go Seoul. I think they're a better team. Joe?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to as well. That was the results I recorded earlier.
Yes.
Making my little graphic here, but yeah, I think Seoul is going to take this, which is going to probably eliminate Hangzhou from the playoffs, and hopefully secure for Seoul because I think it'd be cool for them to show up in their second stage playoffs ever and also in a row. But but yeah, they've got an edge here over a Hangzhou team that's been looking weirdly inconsistent and not quite living up to expectations still, which of course we can just say that all the time until they do
Yeah.
start living up to expectations. But yeah, I don't know. I think Seoul's got the advantage here for sure.
Yeah. I will say this is Hangzhou's only match this week. Like this could be a sneaky, and they got a nice break off of Dallas. They're literally the last game this week. Uh, So this could be a sneaky one for Hangzhou. They could take it just because of that, because they're only preparing for Seoul here. Seoul also has Vancouver, which I think they would like to win this time around. I don't think they want to take a third loss to Vancouver. It would be hilarious if Seoul ends up playing Vancouver once again in the stage playoffs. Right now Vancouver's in third though, and they're in like eighth. But it definitely could happen. That would be super interesting. Um, but yeah, that's all we got for this week. Anything else, Joe?
I don't think so. Lots of news, lots of stuff. Sort
Lots
of
of
a
stuff.
long show, I think. But
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't even that many games to recap, but that was the longest recap we've had, maybe, because
eh,
it was just a fun weekend.
props
Uh,
to the Dallas people.
yeah, that's
Props to
that's be,
OG,
that's on OG. It's all on him.
obviously.
He's the reason why we took so long there. Uh,
We didn't have a power outage mid-show.
yeah.
Let's.
But yeah, if you want to follow us on social media, my personal Twitter account is at JWGeorgeIV. Joe's is at Kirkpatrick_Inc. That's INC. Our show has a Twitter account where Joe just tweeted out an amazing link to Quartermain rapping. And you are going to need to follow that Twitter account now because that is a fantastic song. I love it. We also tweet out the graphics of our predictions and stuff like that. So thanks to Joe for running that, and it's a great Twitter, so go follow it. We tweet out new episodes. You can email us topics you'd like us to talk about as well. Our email is on the flankshow@gmail.com. You're listening to this in one way. If you want to listen to it in a different way, you can go to ontheflank.podbean.com. On my personal YouTube channel, which is John George. Your best way of finding it is via Twitter and not searching John George in YouTube. If you We're on iTunes, we're on Apple Podcasts if you have an iPhone. If you have an Android device, we are also on Spotify and Google Play. Thank you guys for listening, and have a nice week.
Oh wow, yeah. I be flexing on you CGS 김치 쏘대 벌린 Why you 알아두 널 나는 널 모르는 척해 I'll get the hell out money then I'm counting 행사 money 덕분에 내 나이가 내가 할 수 없는 거래 Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my What's this thing? Oh my, oh my, oh my Look at things Oh my, oh my, oh my What's 성공은 보이는 것보다 가이에 자선으로 뛰는 진호 형의 가이에 23개 나이 데이 탑 깨르디 마크도 나르도 플럼 너 랩도 스눕독이 파이래 Yeah I'm motherfucking me 몇 년을 준비하고 명반못 만드는 게 머저리 움직여 like 거리 난 작업이 놀이 다 끝나고 밖에서 또 놀아 like fish party I'm for ring 거리 One day for sure you slip 방송 끝났지 근데 며칠 남았어야 돼나 지나가면 네 여잔 그 자리 서야 돼 긍정의 파도에서 비난할 수가 없다고 너도 내가 대보면 나로 근데 될 수 없으니까 그냥 살아 미안해 마이크는 show I'm gonna make sure Damn this feel like 결혼해줘 잘 나가고 멋지는 걸 녹음한 다음에 다시 먹으러 바로 맨 I gotta flex up 인생이 너무 개간지 yeah 아빠 연봉 한 달에 받지 Yo ma be flexing on you CG yes 김치 so they ballin' Why you 알아두 널 나는 널 모르는 척해 I'll get the hella money then I count the 행사 money 덕분에 내 나이 난 내가 할 수 없는 거래 Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my What's this thing? Oh my, oh my, oh my Look at things Oh my, oh my, oh my What's this thing? Oh my, oh my, oh my Look at things With super B, no super B All of it, I keep it super mean 내 발은 진짜 학교요지야만 보통 super duper clean 아침에 라면 땡길 때는 하나 주고 행 하나 끊고 뭐 커져나다 싶으면 플러스 내서 다사다 갖다 부고 가이스 my whole body 부고 눈 부셔 눈 가래 어제 새 차 사는데 또 내가야 해 또 다른 차 사 내 롤스로이스는 팔았지 내가 돈 떨어진 줄 알았니 근데 이걸 어째 새 롤스로이스 내 탑딱바지 사다치면 yeah. 뭘 모르면 다 대화가리 yeah, 똑같은 소리만 아니라 말하면 말해 난 똑같은 소리만 아니 듣기 싫은 말은 듣기 싫어도 뭐 너네 날 알아 근데 난 너네 몰라 누워서는 홀라 Shout out to Sprite Coca-Cola we pop We feel good in this motherfucker We live in the good motherfucker life Let's get this motherfucker money It's the Korean trap king Shit I be flexing on you CZ yes 김치 so they ballin' Why you 알아두 널 나는 널 모르는 척해 I get the hella money then I counting 행사 money 덕분에 내 나이 난 내가 할 수 없는 거래 Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my What's this thing? Oh my, oh my, oh my Look at things